Hey y'all, this is Dina. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I've been wanting to make this video for a little while. I have had a couple of people ask me about my sewing machine. I've had multiple people ask me about my sewing machine, so I thought I would talk about my sewing machine tonight. I brought this sewing machine actually at Joann Fabrics, and I bought it a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago. Anyway, this is the Singer Modern Quilter. Let's see if I can turn it just a tad. But anyway, I paid probably about $700 for this machine. It is pretty big. It's got a nice large throat space. And so actually, so if I wanted to do quilting, I have plenty of space to put my project up in here when I'm rolling it up if I want to quilt on it. I don't really quilt on it very much. I have tried it, and I don't know, just if I was really gonna do quilting, I probably would, if I was a serious quilter, I'd probably want a long arm quilting machine. So I don't have space for that, nor do I have money for that, and I just don't have time for all that. So I like to make small quilt projects, and I do that sometime. But and so this one will suffice for that. So anyway, this is kind of a beginner. If you're new to sewing or anything like that, this actually is good for you, because I'm going to show you kind of the basics of my machine. Now keep in mind, all sewing machines are different. So the functions that maybe you have on your machine may be a little different than mine. But yeah, for the most part, it's pretty simple. Okay, so the first thing that I can show you is over here on this side, on the end over here, is I have an on-off switch, and it turns on. And the nice thing about this sewing machine, it has a fluorescent bulb in it. So that right there is a plus. It looks like I need to dust it, y'all. But anyway, that's a really nice thing. It's really bright when I sew, and it looks kind of fluorescent for you, but when I'm looking at it, it's really bright. So anyway, yeah, this is a pretty good machine. Some of the functions that it has, and if you watch my sewing tutorials, and let me see if I can get you up just a little bit. Some of the functions that it has just right here is this will actually cut thread. This right here is the up and down feature, and if you watch the needle right here, it goes down. That means when I'm sewing and I take my foot off the pedal, it will end up in the down position. And I really need to get the lint off here, y'all. So anyway, so that's really good. That's a great thing. So you don't want your project to move, so that is really helpful. When I'm not sewing, I usually leave it in the up position. This is the back stitch position, so forth. So anyway, yeah. Over here we have our speeds, and I usually keep it on a fast speed. I like it on fast speed. And I'm gonna see here if I can move you over just a little bit. Right here it shows the different stitches, and I do believe that this one has like 200 stitches on here. You know what, y'all? I only use the straight stitch, and I use the zigzag on occasion. But this right here, as you see, if you look at the screen, I'm gonna pull you over a little bit closer, guys. There. So if you look at the screen here, you can see when I turn the knob, that stitch would be just like that. Here we go. All these different stitches that this has. And while I'm actually turning this, if you take a look over here at where my needle is, and you can watch, it'll move to the right position of where it needs to be. So that's pretty cool. So we have a stitch length and all that in here. Here we have the zigzag over here. And yeah, look, see, this makes the stitch wider. So anyway, there's a lot of these features. I don't even know what they are. Here's the tension. I never touch any of these over here. This one does a buttonhole if you're interested in doing buttonholes. And so that's really good too. Now I have done the buttonhole. I haven't made too many, but I have utilized it. it does really well making buttonholes, because buttonholes are hard. And I even have this little thing you put on there, and you can put the button in it, and it will actually stitch the button onto your project for you. So that is the good thing about this Singer Modern Quilter machine. Since I got it at Joann Fabrics a couple of years ago, and I go in Joann Fabrics once in a while, I haven't seen it anymore. I've seen one that was actually their embroider machine, which in a way I kind of wish I would have went with the embroider machine, because it was the same size and everything, but I thought, no. But in a way I wished I would have. That way I'd have the option to embroider. Maybe one day that could be a bucket list. But anyway, but this is what the machine looks like. And let's see here on the top, and let me see if I can get you guys, I'm gonna get you guys up, and hold on, I'll raise you up. So if you want to know how to thread your needle, let me just quickly show it. I'm gonna try to keep my arms out of the way, y'all. So all you would need to do is you put your thread over here or here, and you're gonna go over and put it behind this thing here, and you're gonna, I hold my thread up at the top, and there's a little disc that's down inside of my machine that it will catch on right down here. So let me show you where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna go down just a little bit, y'all. There we go. So now here's my thread hanging out. So I'm still holding it at the top because I want to make sure it's in that little disc that's inside. And I'm going to take it and put it in this little thing that's right in here, this little wire thing. And so your thread is looped in there. And the nice thing about this machine, it has an automatic threader. And it's good because sometimes my eyes don't want to see the needle. So you're going to take it and put it over here behind this thing on the end. Kind of pull it. I'm trying to keep my arm out of the way, y'all. And then once I do that, then I have this thing over here on the end. And if I push it down, it automatically will thread my needle. That right there sold me when I got this machine. So anyway, but that's how you thread the needle. Then you're just gonna make sure it's in this little groove that's in there. And let me bring this to the back. I always like to keep my thread in the back. And that's how I thread it. So anyway, now if you want to know how I put my bobbin in, let me trim this little thread off, y'all. But how I put my bobbin in is I'm going to, sorry about this, y'all. Trying to make sure y'all get the good view. Okay, so how you put the bobbin in is you're going to, okay, hold on, y'all. Gotta see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna trim one because I'm using another bobbin here. Okay, so, okay, y'all, I gotta get another bobbin. Let me grab one in here. I'm just gonna grab one. The thread don't match. Okay, get that thread in there. I need to clean that out. I do a lot of cleaning. Okay, so here we go. We got our thread. You're going to take your thread, and the thread is rolling over the top. You're going to take it and drop it down into this, where the bobbin goes, into the bobbin casing. And you're going to bring your thread over, and there's a little groove there. Bring your thread over and put it down through that groove. And then once it's in the back, in this little back groove, then you're going to make sure it stays in the groove. And you're going to pull it off, and there it is. So now, put the cover back on. Let's grab a piece of fabric. Yeah, we'll try it out. You put the presser foot down, and there you go. And I'm not on the straight stitch. Let me move over to my straight stitch, y'all. There we go. And there you go. I want to go back, just push this button right here. Anyway, and then I pull this up and voila. On the end of this, there's also a little thing over here, and if you watched any of my videos, that thing will also cut my thread, or I could have pressed this one right here. As you see, there you go. So anyway, yeah, that's just a few of the features that's on my sewing machine. I do have, and I think this is full of stuff right here, but I keep like this threader here. I keep like this thing to clean my sewing machine in here, and all these, they go on top of my thread. I have some threads in here that I need to clean out because it's bobbins that I need to clean out, but I keep things like that in here. Not really sure what this one is. It's some kind of foot that I put on here. I've never used it. And then also too, with when you change some of the stitches, it also might ask for a different foot. And so I usually keep it on this basic foot that I've got here, but as you see, this one's a lot wider than the other one. And yeah, here's one right here. This one right here is a good one. I use it sometimes when I do zippers. That one's a good one. I also have, let's see, what do I have in here? Here, this one right here is the one I use mainly for, if I cannot drop it, I use this one mainly for the zippers as well. And this one is actually the one I mainly use when I sew zippers. And you can see you can go on each side of the zipper with this. So let me just show you quickly how I can change the little walking foot, this foot right here. So all you do is there's a little lever in the back, and you're just gonna you're gonna push it up, and this thing will just drop right down, and it just comes right off. And all you need to do is line up the little groove that's underneath here, and line it up, and you could choose which side you want it on. So I'm gonna line that up and press it down, let it go down, and there you go. So this means I can sew closer on this side, or if I want to change it, I can move it over to the other side. And all you do, sorry about my hand, y'all, just line it up where that groove and just grab it. Pretty simple, huh? So anyway, but I do use this one. This is the main one I use most of the time. And I'm not really sure what the number is on it, but there's different like letters that are numbers that are on my foots, and whenever you change the setting for the stitches, it tells you which one to use. But mainly this is the one I use because I use the straight stitch for the most part. So anyway, so that is that. And I think back here, this thing right here, of course, comes off, and this right here, let me show you this, y'all. This is all the different stitches that it will do, and it will even do the alphabet. So that's the nice thing about it. Something that I don't normally always use, but it's nice to have it. And mainly my goal for this machine was to mainly have a large throat space and have something a little bit more durable, and it has been a great machine. I haven't had any problem with it. I do have a walking foot that it came with, and I do put that on sometime when I'm doing like a quilting project. So anyway, I thought I would just jump on, show you my machine and the one that I use. And so anyway, like I said, I use the Singer Modern Quilter. And yeah, it's a pretty good machine. It's nice and big. This is probably 2 feet long, so it's pretty large, and probably, oh, 1.5 feet tall. So it is a pretty big machine. You only have to oil this machine in one spot, and probably about once a year. The instructions say oil it in one spot, and it's right up inside here, one spot once a year. That's it. Before, people used to always think they needed to oil their machines all the time. And my mother, that's one of them, because she's kind of old school, of course. She's almost 82. But yeah, she even thinks sometimes she should put her machine oil on the top of this just to remove it, because I brought her my granddaughter's machine to use, and it has the drop bobbin, and I told her the other day, Mama, don't put oil on the top of that. Well, I couldn't get it off. I said, well, all you have to do is slide it off. For that one, you slide off. This one, it just has a little thing right here, and it pops it off. So anyway, this is my machine. I hope that if you're into sewing or you're thinking about sewing, maybe you would think about one like this. But yeah, this is a pretty good machine. Now, it also has a long table that I can attach to it too. It's up in my closet. And I also have one of those, it's like a metal bar thing that comes out the side, where I can also like use my knee to make things go up and down or whatever. For like, I'm thinking it's for this right here. I've never used it, but maybe one day I'll pull it out, but I just haven't had a need to use it. It just came with the machine. So anyway, not too hard. And as far as, and let me put you up just a little bit, y'all. Okay, so as far as like to thread, put a bobbin on here, it just comes around. It just comes around here. So if you've never done a bobbin before, for mine, I put my thread down here at the end, and I bring it over and behind this thing right here, pop it in, and I go over and then around that little screw thing right there. And you don't even have to go behind this if you don't want. Let me show you another way. But I think that it's probably better just to do that. Let's just do it this way. And then all you do is you put your thread. Let's see if I'll take my bobbin out and just add some really fast. All you do is you're gonna take your thread, and there's some little holes on the bobbin, and these only take the plastic bobbins. So let's see if I can do this with thread already on there. Usually I don't fill my bobbins unless they're empty, but there's a little hole up in here. I pop my thread through the hole, and once I've got my thread in there, and I've already got thread on there, I just pop it over here. And the easy, nice thing about this one is this lever that's right over here, let me see if I can get y'all closer so you can see it. But this lever right here, now that I've got my thread gone through there, all I do is just voila, and here goes my thread onto my bobbin. That easy. And when it gets full, it'll automatically stop, or you can stop it. So anyway, that's also a great thing too. Most bobbins are on the top of sewing machines. So if you're new and you have like maybe a smaller machine, your bobbin is probably on the top as well. And yeah, all you do is pop it off. And I have a little thread on the top, so I'll have to trim it. And there you go. You've got thread on your bobbin. Anyway, I hope this quick little tutorial of showing you my sewing machine has been helpful. I love this machine. I think it was well worth the money that I paid for it. So that was awesome. Let's get down here. So anyway, here's my machine again. And yeah, it's a good machine, y'all. So if you're into sewing, if you want something that's a little bit bigger like this one is like a, well, this is one of the cheaper machines. Most of the machines out there are pretty expensive, but you can, if you're looking for just an inexpensive machine, I know that Joann Fabrics has some for like $100 or $150. Walmart even sells some machines. I think they have Singer and Brother at Walmart as well. Anyway, this is my sewing machine, y'all. And I hope that if you're into sewing, that maybe you'll find this video beneficial to you. And yeah, I think that that's about it. It's a pretty good machine. I'm real happy with it. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Y'all have a great night. Bye.